Good morning from the News and Public Affairs Department of King's Radio 88.5. Welcome to King's News 145 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Tuesday, September 16, 2025, and I'm Newton Tokwa presenting stories we follow in this morning. Oxygen tank explosion leaves several people injured and properties destroyed as Marat Oxygen Power Facility on Bushrow Island. Criminal court lead rules in Liberia's first piracy case convicts Michael Oputu, a Nigerian, for hijacking a Chinese fishing vessel on Liberian territorial waters. Criminal justice expert and renowned human rights lawyer Councillor Tewon Gonglo demands prosecution of Youth and Sports Deputy Minister for Youth Development Brian Mangill for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl. Away from Liberia, a court in Zambia has sentenced two men to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hidikenden Hichilema. Police have physically removed the Gambian's Auditor General, Momodu Cisse, from his office after he refused to give up the post in a government reshuffle carried out by President Adam Amparo. These plus the news bulletin, our international developments, and our package. I'll take a very short break. I'll be right back. Welcome back, and let's now have the news bulletin. A major explosion on Monday hit Marat Oxygen Power Facility outside Monrovia, leaving workers critically injured. The massive explosion left multiple properties belonging to Marat Oxygen Power destroyed. Although authorities are yet to report lives casualty, several workers at the oxygen plant have sustained severe injuries and hospitalized. Mara Oxygen Power Facility, located on the Bush Road Island, was commissioned in October 2022 and served as the largest medical oxygen plant in Liberia. The facility was a project by the World Health Organization and supported by the other partners to address critical oxygen shortages in the country. The devastating explosion occurred on Monday, drawing several citizens' attention and prompting the immediate intervention of the Joint Security. Criminal Court D resident Judge Mamiata Jabate Salif Monday sentenced one of two Nigerians to 5 years at the Monrovia Central Prison for hijacking a vessel on the high sea. Though defendant Michael Oputa and Titus Izinan have since admitted hijacking a ship on the high sea and were seeking for plea bargaining agreement, but Judge Jabatet Salif ruled that the fights in the case implicated only one defendant, Michael Oputa, to the criminal charges, while his colleague Titus Izinan was acquitted by the court. Judge Japate Salif's decision, according to our RCI judicial correspondent, considered defendant Izinan as an unintentional facilitator without any prior notice to the crime privacy and warrant to be released as provided by law. The two Nigerians, Michael Oputa and Titus Izinan, were indicted by the grand jury of Montserrat County when they used a summoned speedboat with armed and attacked the Shangi 2 vessels on the high sea with 23 crew members on board. Later, they diverted the vessel to the Liberia's territorial water, where they exchanged gunfire with the Coast Guard that overpowered them. The incident happens in 2023, and they were in 2024, currently before criminal code for criminal prosecution consistent with law. Renowned human rights lawyer and criminal justice expert Councillor Tewon Gonglo has called for the immediate arrest and prosecution of Youth and Sports Deputy Minister for Development Magill Bryant, who is accused of raping a 14-year-old girl. In a pre-recorded statement posted on his official Facebook page, Monday, Councillor Gonglo said based on the gravity of the allegation, the accused Deputy Youth and Sports Minister should not be seen moving around freely, but rather placed in police custody. He also criticized the government for what he termed as selective justice, adding that all suspects of crime must be dealt with the same way. Councillor Gonklo also challenged Police Inspector General Gregory Kuma to effect the arrest of Brian Mangill and ensured he faces the full weight of the law. The criminal justice experts claimed that failure to arrest and prosecute the Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports undermines Liberia's rule of law, calling on President Joseph Boakai to immediately suspend the accused minister to face the law. The Student Unification Party of the University of Liberia has vowed to continue its protest against the administration of the University of Liberia. SUP is the main immediate rehabilitation of all buildings and classes, improvement of libraries, student centers, and student life, faculty condition, among many others. Secretary General of the Student Unification Party, Odysseus Moba, during Monday, September 15 protest, said the student body is prepared to take the administration head on if they fail to adhere to their demands. According to Moba, no amount of threat will make them to give up on their demands, noting that UL administration and the government are aware of their demands. He noted that some of the students are victims of the add and drop, victims of confused semester and a confused leadership by the UL president. The trial jurors of criminal code B have adjudged defendant Sam Waluba guilty for performing a surgery that led to a patient's death. This followed Monday's legal argument between the state and defense lawyers, which was characterized by claims and counterclaims with the objective of convincing the court for verdict. 10 of the 12 panel Monday jurors, according to our judicial correspondent, returned with a guilty verdict against the defendant Sam Waluwa, while 2 jurors returned not guilty. The majority jurors' verdict means the weight of the evidence abuses by prosecuting lawyers during the weekend. That's the week-long trial was convincing to convict the defendant Waluba for crime of murder as provided by law. But defense lawyer Councillor Sani Kalo took exception to the majority jurors' verdict, saying they will take advantage of the law controlling. Following the juror's decision, Judge Wissett instructed the clerk of court to communicate with the probation officer at the Ministry of Justice to do a pre-sentencing investigation report on defendant Sam Waluba's character before announcing his sentence as provided by Chapter 35, Section 35.5 of the pre-sentencing guideline booklet. According to our judicial correspondent, defendant Sam Waluba, who worked with the Lofa Medical Clinic as a lesson operating room technician, risked life imprisonment or death by hanging as provided by Chapter 50, Section 50.1 and 2 of the Criminal Procedures Law of Liberia. He was indicted in 2025 during the February term by the grand jury of Montserrat County for allegedly performing a surgery that led to death of a patient. A lecturer at the United Methodist University is under scrutiny following release of leaked audio recording in what was allegedly soliciting money from students in exchange for passing grades. The instructor, identified as Cyrus Johnson, is reported it on that's a social science lecturer at both UMU and the University of Liberia. In the recording, Johnson is heard requesting 50 and 25 USD from students who had failed his course at the UMU in order to receive a passing grades. The viral audio recording has since raised concerns in the public, with many questioning the academic integrity at various universities and other areas of learning. Meanwhile, the defendant has alleged his action. Johnson claimed that the payments are meant to instill seriousness among the students. He accused many of them of prioritizing social activities over their academic responsibilities, despite their patients' financial sacrifices to ensure they receive a proper education. Johnson further attributed the students' poor performance to the lack of commitment to their education, adding that the financial incentives for grades serve as a corrective measure. Also speaking about the 25 years of experience in the teaching profession, Johnson admitted that it is a common practice for students at both UMU and the University of Liberia to pay in exchange for passing in his courses. However, following the release of the audio, the administration of the United Methodist University has not released an official statement on the matter up to press time. About 30 students are said to be benefiting from the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation 4-month internship program aimed at fostering youth development through practical work experience. According to the LWSC management, the initiative is part of the government's broader effort to empower young people through internship opportunities across public institutions. Speaking at the LWSC headquarters Monday, Managing Director Mo Ali explained that the students were selected from various high schools and universities across the country vetted by the Ministry of Finance. He added that the interns have now been assigned across all 5 divisions of the corporation, including administration, management, technical services, finance, and sales and marketing. The LWSC's managing director further urged the interns to be committed and vigilant in their assigned roles throughout the duration of the program. Also speaking, a representative from the interns, Edmond Wilt, lauded the Liberian government and Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation for the opportunity. He described the initiative as a significant step that will equip young people with valuable hands-on experience within government institutions. The principal of Kingsley Linton, Academy Harrison Sako, has congratulated students of his institution for a successful pass in the 2024-2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. 102 students of Kingsley Academy School sat the year's examination, making an exceptional pass, something Sako attributed to collective efforts from both the students and administrative staff. The school, with an enrollment of about 600 students, is one of the fastest growing institutions providing quality education in Liberia. The Catholic Metropolitan Archbishop of Monrovia, Gabriel Blamo Jubit, has raised a strong alarm over the rising wave of drug abuse among Liberian youth across the country. Speaking during a homily when he paid a visit to Immaculate Conception Parish in Pipeline over the weekend, Jubit Archbishop described the rising wave of drug abuse as a national tragedy, tearing families apart. The Catholic Metropolitan Archbishop of Monrovia also expressed concern over declining Catholic participation in Catholic schools, noting that out of 509 students at Immaculate Conception School, only 102 are Catholics. In a message to the church property rights, Archbishop Juby pledged legal action if needed and welcomed the induction of new members into the Catholic Lawyers Association to defend the church's interests. The Mass also included the commissioning and induction of members into the Immaculate Conception chapter of the Catholic Lawyers Association. To mark the induction, Councillor Ambrose Mann, president of the Catholic Lawyers Association of Liberia, promised Archbishop Juby that the association will also fight to legally protect the church's properties. The Mass underscored a call for renewed faith, stronger education, and a united legal defense of the Catholic Church in Liberia. Bunk University Student Union President Gabriel Sa is calling on students of the University of Liberia to remain calm and channel their grievances through proper procedures. Sa described the UL student protests as violent and unlawful, emphasizing that while there are legitimate concerns over the university's poor condition, restoring to disruptions such as vandalizing and stone throwing undermines the institution's credibility. According to him, though there are several challenges faced by students, including the lack of seating capacity, inadequate laboratory equipment, and other poor state of the university's latrines, protest should not be considered a solution. And Bone County Senator Prince Moy over the weekend distributed school materials among students in Zota District, Bone County. Speaking during the exercise, Senator Moy encouraged the students to remain focused and take their studies seriously. The distribution of school materials took place at the Poloya Public School in Zota District. Senator Moy further urged students of the Poloya Public School to prioritize their education, adding that going to farm would not take them anywhere. What if you just joining us? A reminder you're listening to King's News, run a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories we following this morning. Oxygen tank explosion leaves several people injured and properties destroyed at Mara Oxygen Power Facility on Bushra Island. Criminal Court D rules in Liberia's first parasite case convicts Michael Oputo, a Nigerian, for hijacking a Chinese fishing vessel on Liberia's territorial waters. Criminal justice experts and renowned human rights lawyer Chancellor Tewon Gonglo demands prosecution of Youth and Sports Deputy Minister for Youth Development Bryant McGill for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl. Away from Liberia, a court in Zambia has sentenced two men to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hidikinde Hichilema. Police have physically removed the Gambian Auditor General Momodu Sise from his office after he refused to give up the post in the government reshuffle carried out by President Adama Barrow. We'll take another short break, but we'll come back. We'll bring you the voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back. On this development now this morning, renowned human rights lawyer and criminal justice expert Chancellor Tewon Gonglo has called for the immediate arrest and prosecution of Ministry of Youth and Sports Deputy Minister for Youth Development Brian McGill, who is accused of raping a 14-year-old girl. In a pre-recorded statement posted on his official Facebook page Monday, Councillor Gonglo said that based on the gravity of the allegation, the accused, Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports, should not be seen moving around freely, but rather placed in police custody, and also criticized the government for what he termed as selective justice, adding that all suspects of crime must be dealt with accordingly.
I am so angry this morning to hear that Deputy Minister McGill, the man who was accused of raping a 14-year-old girl, is passing up and down the street. He should be in the police cell, that he are not being arrested. We cannot have selective justice. Article 11C of the Constitution calls for equal protection. The same way you treat people from West Point, Soniwang, of Vubadi in Sino, when they are accused of crime, the same way you should treat a high official of government. Why do I say so? When I was Solicitor General and my good friend Roland Khan was senator, and the police came to me with a report, a team led by Sam Sion, chief of investigation at that time, and said, we are investigating, but Senator Roland Khan's name has featured as a co-conspirator. I said, go and arrest him. I will answer the question. They told me, oh, he's a member of the Senate. Can't we write the Senate to excuse him to be arrested? I said, no, there's nothing in the law that says so. He was immediately arrested and put at the back of the pickup, handcuffed along with other defendants. All suspects of crime must be treated the same way. It undermines the rule of law. I'm calling upon the police to immediately arrest former Deputy Minister McGill. He should be former Deputy Minister. This is wrong for a mayor who was appointed, nominated and confirmed by the Senate to protect the young people and to carry on youth development to become a threat. The survival of the young people is not anything that the government should take lightly. I'm calling upon President Boakai to tell the police director to move speedily, because these are the things that can make the police disrespected in the communities. The whole country is watching.
He's renowned human rights lawyer and criminal justice expert, Councillor Tewon Gonglo, they are speaking. The Student Unification Party at the University of Liberia has vowed to continue its protest against the administration of the University of Liberia. SUP is the main immediate rehabilitation of all buildings and classes, improvement of libraries, student centers, and student facilities, among others. That's SUP Secretary General Odysseus Mova during Monday, September 15 protest said the student body is prepared to take the administration head on if they fail to adhere to their demands.
Why is it that the government or the administration is not concerned about the legitimate cause of the Vanguard Party? We have been saying there are issues we are confronted with. And then you see us as hooligans. We are telling you that we are victims of iron trap. We are victims of a confused semester. We are victims of Mapaya ineptitude. We are victims of dilapidated environment. We are victims of the Kwakale regime, the cat of the state-run university. We are demanding we call hooligans. Hooligans. How will university students be hooligans? The real hooligans, like we say, are people who have our resources and are stealing from the country and cannot contribute to the society, cannot contribute to the University of Nigeria. We want to make this clear. The Vanguard Convocation Party, the current president of the University of Liberia, who has refused to listen to the plight of thousands of students, who has grown monster, who has become unconscious, who is being used or part and parcel of the corrupt cartel of the university, who is appointing and teaching out money for the University of Liberia, who is illegally employing people for the salaries and area. A Mapaya who has given less than 10 retroactive salary with faculty and John staff are yet to be employed, but she has brought 50 employees of the University of Liberia. Mapaya is a contradiction. Mapaya is the worst thing that ever happened to the University of Liberia. She must leave the university now. Like we said, there will be unspecified. Down. On the board of justice, the reason why we say that the board of justice is illegitimate, illegal, you must realize today that the board of justice has statutory position. The current chair on education at the level of the Senate, the legislature, is not in the board of justice. Mr. Nathaniel Magio should be the chair of the board of trustees. Not particular member of the board of trustees to leave. Mapaya is using an illegal board of trustees to maneuver away as the institute of malicious agenda. But the Vanguard Education Party is scared that we will not take any instruction from illegitimate board of trustees. If particular thing they challenge the party, any attempt to suspend a single student of the University of Liberia will ensure make the country ungovernable. Any attempt from a point to suspend a single student of the University of Liberia should be immediately suspended by the Vanguard Education Party. So we are very clear about this. You cannot intimidate us. Our concerns are legitimate and justifiable. We have presented thousands of number. Our concerns documented with facts or wrong.
His SUP Secretary General Odysseus Mobade speaking during yesterday's protest. A lecturer at the United Methodist University is under scrutiny following the release of a leaked audio recording in which he was allegedly soliciting money from students in exchange for passing grades. The instructor, identified as Cyrus Johnson, is reportedly a social science lecturer at both UMU and the University of Liberia. In the recording, Johnson is heard questioning $50 and $25 from students who had failed his course at the UMU in order to receive passing grades. The viral audio recording has since raised concerns in the public, with many questioning the academic integrity at various universities and other areas of learning.
The law dans les phara assis. Souvent, on vient les classes là. Everybody, man, don't get me back again. Everybody will talk for that shit. Need that thing. You play your part. You get on me. Tomorrow, here's what was on that. I'll call you. No, you tell it info. No, because this one, I'll tell you, I'm going to meet her. I'm going to tell you. I send it here because they put the coming copy another semester. Yeah, I heard it. If you see the copy, everybody keep asking. So as so I bring up I can't waste on you because you go to come here, you can give me if you tell me. I was saying 20 now. My father, I would scratch that. I want to scratch that. And then with the time for the top, I love that. I know you. So you want to have the school here? No, I would. For the 10 now that I seen it, I don't want.
I do now. You see me that I saw my ever come.
I pay you. Me ever than you back. I am ever. You may ever be going for boyfriend. You come to school, you pass a boyfriend play.
Where? What are you not see me was my
I Manago, Bola, Bola woman.
Me that you not see me was my own. I come back.
Yeah, they say you want to go fight, you want to go where?
I don't go there.
All right, yeah, father, yeah. Yeah, whenever you. All right, I see you. You want to go be here, you want to travel to correct. I get to anything. Just forget it. So you're coming to class. I say, okay, I change my mind for that. So now I say, bring a small amount. Then you able to bring a small amount. People that more than you.
No, but me, probably I shall support and
yeah, but even is also supported. So then also even is also better. Oh, okay, but I can say so, but but you can't bring that kind of pin that in for me when you get B problem. You don't do that.
A lecturer at the United Methodist University, Cyrus Johnson, get heard in elite audio. About 30 students are said to be benefiting from the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation 4-month internship program aimed at fostering youth development through practical work experience. According to the LWSC management, the initiative is part of the government's broader effort to empower young people through internship opportunities across public institutions. Speaking at the LWSC headquarters on Monday, Managing Director Moedi explained that the students were selected from various high schools and universities across the country vetted by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning.
I want to first extend thanks to the Ministry of Finance for sending more people to help us with our work. We have a lot of work here. At least they will be paying also. But it's 4 months, and those of you who want to learn, you will learn a lot. Those in the area of management, our administration people will drill you through. You will learn a lot. Those of you who intend to do procurement in the future, here you will learn a lot in procurement. Those who want to go into the technical field, engineering, plumbing, we also have those here. Also, once in a while, we'll take you to White Plains to go see how it works there. So, I want to say welcome. After here, like the administration man said, there is going to be orientation. But I will also want those who are just high school graduates to list their areas of interest so that we can assign them appropriately, that they begin to have practical ideas on what they intend to do in the future. When you have the practical experience, it's easy in the classroom because you would have already known what is coming. So on this note, we have series of other meetings. Monday is a whole meeting day package from one meeting to another. So I want to say welcome. Have a great stay at Water and Sewer. We will do monthly evaluation. Even the interns from schools, when the school send them, we do monthly evaluation of your performance and send it to the people who send you. In this case, we'll do a monthly evaluation and send it to Ministry of Finance.
Also speaking, a representative from the interns, Edmund Wilt, lauded the Liberian government through Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation for the opportunity. He described the initiative as a significant step that will equip young people with valuable hands-on experience within government institutions.
Thank you in the Liberia Water and Sewer for giving us such an opportunity to see ourselves in the workspace of the public sector. It is an honor and also an opportunity for us, especially as young people trying to better our life. I hope we will be able to use this opportunity as each one to understand the work ethics of the public sector, and also at the end of the day, we should be able to have an opportunity to work for these various entities that they are sending us to.
One of the interns, Edmond Wilder, speaking earlier, you heard the voice of the managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, Mo Ali. Well, if you're just joining us with the time half past the hour, a reminder you're listening to King's News, Broom, the 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories we're following this morning. Oxygen tank explosion leaves several people injured and properties destroyed at Marat Oxygen Power Facility on Bushroyd Island. Criminal Cody rules in Liberia's first piracy case, convicts Michael Oputo, a Nigerian, for hijacking a Chinese fishing vessel on Liberia territorial waters. Criminal justice expert and renowned human rights lawyer Councillor Tiwan Gonglo demands prosecution of Youth and Sports Deputy Minister for Youth Development Bryant McGill for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl. And away from Liberia, a court in Zambia has sentenced 2 men to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hifikepunye Hichilema. Police have physically removed the Gambia's Auditor General, Mamadou Cissé, from his office after he refused to give up the post in a government reshuffle carried out by President Adam Barrow. These are stories to follow here this morning on King's News Broom. We'll take another short break. When we come back, we'll bring you more voices on the program. On this one, the principal of Kingsley Linton, Ekeleme Harrison Sako, has congratulated students of the institution for a successful pass in the 2024-2025 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. 102 students of Kingsley Academy School sat this year's national exam, making an exceptional pass, something Sako attributed to collective efforts on both the students and administrative staff.
Kingsley has been one of the most successful schools. Our success is in many folds. One, I will come to the issue of the wise results because I know that's what you want to hear. But to start something from scratch without having a blueprint that I want to establish school, and then seeing that from emerging from a youth center to a school and having a school up to present that has about 600 students, that's a mass success. Instructional wise, the school is also blessed to have the quality of teachers that we can boast of. In one of my media engagements, I told we told the public that the school has a benchmark for admitting people who come here to teach. So that is, if you are coming to Kingston into Academy to teach, you must meet a minimum benchmark as per the Ministry of Education's requirement that you must have at least a C certificate or a B certificate or AA degree, bachelor's degree, and so on and so forth. So in the same vein, that's how our salary structure is being done. So that's one of the blessings. That's one of the prospects of this institution with the quality of teachers. The school has about 36 teachers, excluding administrators, janitors, other support staff like the kickball, the football, the music coaches that we have, but 36 instructional staff. And that number, all of them, if you count, go back to 2012 up to present, is just 13 years. In just 13 years, the school has 4 gigantic structures.
Harrison Sako is the principal of the Kingsley Linton Academy School. They're speaking. The Catholic Metropolitan Archbishop of Monrovia, Gabriel Blamo Jugbe, has raised a strong alarm over the rising wave of drug abuse among Liberian youth across the country. Speaking during the homily, where he paid a visit to Immaculate Conception Parish in Pipeline over the weekend, Jugbe Archbishop described the rising wave of drug abuse as a national tragedy, tearing families apart. The Catholic Metropolitan Archbishop of Monrovia also expressed concern over the declining Catholic participation in Catholic schools, noting that about 509 students at Immaculate Conception School, only 102 at Catholics.
Our hearts are bleeding, for we see many of our children, young people, dying right before us in the land of drugs, illegal drugs in our country. This year, Immaculate Conception, the population, the enrollment, 509 students. Non-Catholics, out of the 509 students, we have 407 who are non-Catholics. And 102 Catholics. Well, we are proud that non-Catholics believe in our education. But let us not pat ourselves on the back and just be complacent and just sit and be satisfied. No. The reason for which we establish our schools, we must fulfill that mission. So, it's been ordered. It's not religious educational, catechumenate program to prepare the children in their school for the reception of the sacraments, to share our faith even with non-Catholics, so they know this is what we believe. Do you know if you send your children to some other schools, they are forced to follow? We don't force you, but we must share it.
Also remarking at the induction, Councillor Ambrose Mann, president of the Catholic Lawyers Association of Liberia, promised Archbishop Jugbe that the association will also fight to legally protect the church's properties. The Mass Honors Code called for a renewed faith, stronger education, and a united legal defense of the Catholic Church in Liberia.
Our dynamic Archbishop organization will have to survive. Why do we have the Catholic Lawyers Association? Professionals, we sought to look for Catholics who are lawyers and not lawyers who are Catholics. And there's a big difference between Catholics who are lawyers and lawyers who are Catholics. For lawyers who are Catholics, our profession comes first before anything else. For Catholics who are lawyers, our doctrine comes first before our profession. For Catholics who are lawyers, wherever we stand to practice our profession, we first stand as Catholics, carrying the Catholic values and the teachings before we apply it to our profession. For far too long, many people have taken advantage of the Catholic Church in Liberia. First, starting with us, Catholics. Like His Grace said, the value of the things we have, we don't know, and we underestimate it.
He's Councillor Ambrose Mann, president of the Catholic Lawyers Association of Liberia. Earlier, you heard the voice of the Catholic Metropolitan Archbishop of Monrovia, Gabriel Blamo Jugbe. Bo University student Union President Gabriel Sa is calling on students of the University of Liberia to remain calm and channel their grievances through proper procedures. Sa described the UR student protests as violent and unlawful, emphasizing that while there are legitimate concerns over the university's poor conditions, that disruption, such as vandalism and stone throwing undermines the institution's credibility.
Tell the students of the University of Liberia to remain calm because we know issues are on the campuses of the University of Liberia. But we continue to send the message of non-violence. Violence has never solved our problem in this country. From a back of ages, Liberians have been protesting, using violent means to protest, to stage protests, vandalizing properties, destroying properties, and all of that. But this has taken us nowhere. So as president of the Broom University Students Union, we found all forms of violence on the university campuses, the University of Liberia campuses. We are saying to the students we should refrain from violence. We don't support violence in any form. And we are calling on the students and all student leaders that we remain peaceful, we remain calm. There are more proper means. Like recently, I was telling some of the Congress, there are more proper means of channeling our message to the Liberian president. They are right. There are no chairs, taking the chairs and destroying them, taking stones and throwing them here and dead properties. These are not going to help. You just continue to worsen the problem or the problems on the campuses of the University.
He's Broom University Student Union President Gabriel Sade speaking. And away from Liberia, a court in Zambia has sentenced 2 men to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hakainde Hichilema. Zambian Leonan Fari and Mozambican Justin Mabulis were convicted under the witchcraft act after being arrested in December with charms in their possession, including a live chameleon. This is my first considered view that the convicts were not only the enemy of the head of state, but were also enemies of all Zambians, Magistrate Fan Mayambu said in his ruling. The case has been closely followed in Zambia, as this was the first time anyone was put on trial for attempting to use witchcraft against a president. Police have physically removed the Gambian's Auditor General Momodu Cisse from his office after he refused to give up the post in the government reshuffle carried out by President Adama Barrow. Cisse, who has spent almost 3 years as Auditor General in the West African state, says he had turned down Barrow's recent effort to become Trade Minister. Yet the president insists that Cisse originally agreed, but later changed his mind. The rule has angered many Gambians, with some accusing the president of trying to replace Cisse with someone who would shield him from corruption allegations. On that note, this I would like to go home this morning on this edition of the program King's Newsroom, a 45-minute news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. But just before we go home this morning, let's remind you of stories we've been following. Oxygen tank explosion leaves several people injured and properties destroyed at Marot Oxygen Power Facility on Bushrock Island. Criminal code D rules in Liberia's first piracy case convicts Michael Oputo, the Nigerian, for hijacking a Chinese fishing vessel on Liberia territorial waters. Criminal justice expert and renowned human rights lawyer Councillor Tewon Gonglo demands prosecution of Youth and Sports Deputy Minister for Youth Development Brian Mangiro for allegedly raping a 14-year-old girl. Away from Liberia, a court in Zambia has sentenced 2 men to 2 years in prison for attempting to use witchcraft to kill President Hakainde Hichilema. Police have physically removed the Gambian's Auditor General Momodu Cisse from his office after he refused to give up the post in the government reshuffle carried out by President Adama Barrow. These are stories we follow here this morning on King's Newsroom. I would like to say many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, news editors who helped in making this package. Also, say better still join us this afternoon at 1 o'clock. I wish that we'll be here with another edition of the program. My name is Newton Tuba. Thanks for listening and watching. Good morning.